Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Moorish Talk.
We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Moorish talk, real talk, real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Moorish talk, real talk, real talk. Hell, I want us to talk about it. At least that we can shout about it. We're building our foundation upon truth. I'm thankful now to think about it. Communicate and speak about it. The gospel of salvation is good news. We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Moorish talk, real talk, real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk, real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking, Moorish talk, real talk, real talk. We're building when the girls are talking, Moorish talking, real talk,
Moorish talk. In 2 weeks on Monday at 7 p.m.
We thank you all for being a part of this show and experience with us, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Peace. Peace.
Islam. First, I give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe. I give honor to his last and holy prophet, Prophet Noble Jurali. I give honor to all the past leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I give honor to our present Grand Sheikh and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Dr. R. Jones Bey. I give honor to his assistant, Brother A. Hawkins Bey. I give honor to all national, state, and local officials. I give honor to the media team, all the viewers. I give honor to my sisters on the panel. I give a special honor to Sister S. Johnson Ill, the thought and co-founder of Girl Talk, Real Talk, Moorish Talk. Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Moorish Talk. Tonight's topic is the tools of the workshop of the mind. I am Sister Ingrid Ill, Temple 71, Washington, D.C.
Islam. First, I rise giving praises to our Father God, Allah, and honors to our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to all that our sister gave honors to. I give honors where honors are due. I give honors to each and every one of you. My name is Sister T. Britt Bay, Temple number 71, Washington, D.C. Peace.
Islam. I like to rise my thoughts and give praises to Allah. Honor to our holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Ali. Honors to the leadership of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Honors to Sister S. Johnson Ill as well. Praise Allah for that thought. Honors to each and every one of you. Honors to my co-host, Islam. My name is Sister Tiffany Hopkins Bay out of Temple number 11, Philadelphia, PA.
Islam, I give praise to our great God, our Father God Allah. I give honor to our holy prophet, Noble Drali. I give honor to everything that the sisters said before me, as well as I give honors to each of these sisters that I'm here with today to have this conversation. I give honor to those that are with us about to have this conversation and join in, who are the viewers and the watchers, and hopefully be able to comment and share your thoughts as well on this topic. My name is Sister A. Raven Obey from Temple number 21, Brooklyn, New York. Peace.
Islam. So I didn't know if the sister wanted to share her thoughts behind the topic or not. If not, I can go into the first question.
Praise Allah. I could briefly share my thoughts. Comprehending the tools of the workshop of the mind, where, let me read it so I'm correct, because my thoughts came from this chapter. Praise Allah for holy day meetings and our Sunday school, because it brings a lot of different things to think about. So in the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought and where we build up character, that's where this topic came from me. Islam.
Islam. So I'm gonna start with the first question. I'm gonna put my glasses on because y'all blurry and I like to see y'all faces. So the first question is, in your own words, what is the workshop of the mind to you? What does that look like?
Well, I'll start because I think I just explained it for myself, but I'll say it again. The workshop of the mind is, of course, we know is about thought and what your thoughts contribute, what it contributes to yourself, what it contributes to the ethers, the vibration around you. We know that thought is the cause of it all. So, therefore, there's some things we have to work on within our minds to make sure that our thoughts are of character building skills, of positive um, thoughts, of just higher self vibrations, and having that work go on in your mind, as we know, is a lot of work on self. It's not about what everything is going on around you. It's about you. It's about how you deal with things, how you process things, how you internalize things. That has been something that I personally have been contemplating on, is how I take stuff in. A lot of things will come at you from different places, but how do you respond to those things? So with that, I say peace.
Islam. When I think about the workshop of the mind, I first think of a place. And to me, the workshop of the mind is a place that stores a lot of information. A lot of things are done in this workshop. We create, we problem solve, we identify issues. I wrote some things down, so I'm looking down at them. We debate, we imagine, we doubt, we get training, we learn. And it's a place that never shuts down.
Mm-hmm.
It's work always going inside the workshop of the mind. And so I like this is how it looks to me. And constantly I'm in this workshop, even in my sleep. Even in my sleep, I am working in the workshop 24/7. And praise Allah that we have the proper tools when we're in the workshop working. Peace.
Peace. That question, what is it to me, the workshop of the mind? It makes me think about when the prophet tells us about reflection is the business of man. And when I'm reflecting about what has happened in the past or what I'm going through or what I went through, to me, that's where the workshop of the mind really comes to play, because then I can take the various tools and say, okay, this, your passions were up. You need to draw a circle around that and toss that out, or you went off and on. So I think about the workshop as a place for me when I am thinking about my thoughts consciously and trying to work on my character. I think this is, yeah, that's in work on your character was in the chapter. And the best time for me to do that is when I'm really doing the work to reflect about what happened. So I try to make that practice, because the only way I can make my character better is if I stop and think about what just happened. What did I do? What did I say? Did that come off right? That didn't come off right. Did I move too quick? Was I a little too snappy? What was it about my character that was not pleasant for me? Why am I even thinking about it? Why am I even reflecting on it? So to me, that's when those tools are so important, because now I get the opportunity to say, okay, well, what truth do I need to lean in on or take away? So that's how I think about it. Peace.
Everything that y'all said, I mean, Praise Allah. When I think about it, first of all, I'm grateful to know that I have a workshop to work with. Workshop for me is places where I can build upon. Like the sister was saying, create and make and unmade. And it gives you perspective. You have tools in there. The tools are used to cut away, chisel away. Um, you know, it gives you perspective on life. Before knowing about the workshop of the mind, for me, a lot of my problems came from somebody else.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's, praise Allah.
Before knowing about the workshop of the mind, my problems came from somebody else. And I'm grateful to know that everything starts and ends with Sister Greer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Every single
Yeah.
thing. People can only add to, right? And sometimes they can take away if you allow it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, so peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. While everyone was speaking, I was just thinking about, you know, in our everyday lives, what do we use workshops for? To go fix our cars, to go fix something in our house. You know, we have workshops for different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, different places offer different workshops to learn how to do
Yeah.
certain things. So a workshop is a place to to correct something or fix something, or as the sister said,
Build.
create something,
Mm-hmm.
build. So
Yes.
praise Allah for our
Tear down.
the right our Quran speaking about how the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought, and teaching us how to build up character.
Right.
So for me, for that to be in there, and it's telling us that we have to build up our character, that means at some point our character flawed. And this is why we have to bring recognition to it in order to build it up. There is a reason, and there are things that you have to do in order to get it to a certain point so that it runs and works properly. It
Mm-hmm.
functions properly.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, praise Allah for the divine instructions, because
Hmm.
letting us know what we have to work on and how.
Mm-hmm.
This particular chapter number 5 speaks about how. So praise Allah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Can
if
I
you.
just say this before we get to the next question? When the sister mentioned, it is such a blessing to know that we have a workshop to build up our character. We
Yes.
don't have to accept the character that we have as, well, I am who I am. You got to take me who I'm take me. Actually, if you want a better character, then you can actually go and work on it. But you got to know, by with we're very, very blessed to know that you can actually work on your character, and there are tools if you want to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
It's
You know,
important.
the powerful thing for me was when I learned that I had to start there, because I didn't know that. I thought it was a physical thing I had to do to fix my character, to fix me, which I do, but it starts here. It
Mm-hmm.
starts here with the kind of thoughts that I hold, the type of passions and desires that I entertain and that I have. I didn't know all of that before. So that
Mm-hmm.
was like awesome for me to find that out. So I have a place to go and start the work. Praise Allah.
Hmm.
Praise Allah.
Praise
You
Allah,
got to
my
roll the
deeds.
sleeves up when you go in there, baby.
Mhm.
Don't get dirty.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Real talk.
Yes.
All right. So, how do you control your thoughts in order to protect yourself against your lower self?
So with me, I don't think I can control my thoughts, but I believe that I can keep the thoughts from controlling me.
Mm.
Mm.
And the way that I'm able to do that is I first have to be in tune with what kind of thoughts I'm holding, just as I said before. You know,
Mhm.
what is it I'm thinking about? What is it I'm entertaining? And what helps me to do that is meditation, is continuous practice of the instructions. I have to believe that these instructions actually work. And then even though I may apply or use my tools in the process, seeing the results, but I have to see them over and over to keep me consistently wanting to keep using my tools.
Mhm.
Um, I can only control, like I said, I can only control my actions by tapping into my thoughts.
Mm.
Thoughts come in a lot. They come in a lot. And what I love about meditation is when I heard them tell me that don't worry about trying to get rid of the thoughts, but it's acknowledging the thought, acknowledging in the moment just what the thought is, and you're stripping it of its power, just acknowledging the thought, but getting into a practice of having a place to get back to, especially if it's not a good thought. I'm speaking in terms of if it isn't a good thought. If it's a good thought, hold that thought if you can. Hold the thought. But if it's not a thought that contributes to one's growth and development, I get in the practice of having a go-to place throughout my days, which is the actual moment. What's actually going on in the moment and thinking of something a little bit more pleasant. So the tools come in handy.
Mhm.
I don't want to start talking about any of our other questions. I'm just gonna stop there because I don't want to start talking about specific tools. But I'm just gonna say, for those of you that don't know about the tools, today you're going to learn about wearing that tool belt on a daily basis because I can't see anybody surviving throughout the days without the tool belt. I've never seen a handyman show up for work without the tool belt. And that's all I'm going to say about that piece.
Islam. Sister, you just said something. You don't see them surviving, but really, they might just be surviving and not living.
Mm.
Praise Allah.
Because there was a time where I was just surviving.
Just
You
survive.
understand?
Right,
I wasn't living. I was just surviving.
right.
Um, that was it. I'm sorry.
There she go.
Can you say the question again one more time, sis?
Yeah, yeah.
How do you control your thoughts in order to protect yourself against your lower self?
Mm. I mean, I could just say control. How do you control your thoughts to protect yourself from your lower self? For me, I usually it's a vibration that comes with those thoughts for me, you know. Um, you know, it I can feel when it shifts or the energy shifts. My mood, my energy. Somebody can walk in a room and if their energy to me doesn't feel like um it's inspiring me, I can feel that sometimes too. So my immediate thought is, well, I'm gonna use a circle. I use that compass. Like, okay, how do I protect
There you go.
myself
There you go.
from that? And I think about that. And I remember someone told me when I was younger, you can create a magical shield around you.
Mm-hmm.
Act like you're a superhero, whatever you need to do, so that when things come to you, now that don't mean that when it comes to you, you don't feel it. But if you put that
Mhm.
up, you are aware mentally that you're trying to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Particularly as a woman, you want to protect yourself in certain situations. And I found that not just physically, but energetically, that's really important. My children, I know, I always tell them, be responsible for the energy you bring up in here. I can feel it when you walk and you sling that bag down, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, what just happened? What, you're hungry? Okay, all right, I get it, but what you bring in is a lot right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, because if I'm not aware of that energy or that feeling sometimes, then it can trigger my lower self.
Yes.
My lower self is
Mhm.
Yes.
like, we need to defend myself,
Mm-hmm.
or I start to, or my lower self will suggest, well, I don't think he up to no good, or whatever the thing it starts
Yes.
suggesting, is that maybe not nothing got to do with that. It could just be you had a really rough day, and I need to make sure that that does not impact my day. So for
Right.
me, that's one of the ways that I try to um, be mindful of my energy and the energy I feel. And
Mm.
I think meditation absolutely helps, but just stilling yourself
Mm.
so that you can check in to see where you are helps me, you
Mm.
know, so that I before I go to the next thing. Because
Mm.
lower self is strong.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Very strong.
It is
Mhm.
strong.
It is. It
You
is.
just reminded me, Sister Reverend Bay, of a feeling chart when you said that
Mhm.
to identify your feelings.
Mm.
Mhm.
You know, someone used to say, "How do you feel?" And I used to be like, "Okay," and they would say, "Okay, it's not a feeling. How do you feel?
Right.
Identify your feeling,
Yeah.
right?" And you know, the question was, how do you control your thoughts? Well, thoughts be coming in, rushing in thousands at a time.
Mhm.
Um, and I can't control them. I can't control really all the time what comes in. I can control, however, how long I entertain them, as the sister was
Mhm.
saying. What kind of energy I give to them. Does it have any saving power? Is it going to help me in this next
That's
moment?
right.
Uh, you know, and there are times when I've escaped myself from what enters my thoughts with a word or a sentence or a statement. And I've found myself outside of myself. Praise Allah for the tools. Before the tools, when I would be outside myself, I'm just going to be outside myself
Yeah.
until I'm not outside myself no more. I didn't know how to bring myself back.
Right. Right.
People looking at me in the street didn't matter to me how I was behaving because I could not control that. There was this thing in me that just it just needed to come out, and all it took was a trigger, one little thing, and it trust me, it's something that I hadn't worked on, that was deep down in there, and something was said, and it brought it all the way out because I hadn't worked on it yet. So yeah, peace.
Praise Allah.
I was just
Um,
thinking. Oh, go ahead,
go ahead.
sis. Go
Nope, you
ahead.
good.
I spoke already. Go ahead. We
All
want
is
to hear
well.
from you.
All is well. For me, hold on just 1 second. You gotta go.
Yeah, like
For
that.
me, honest to you all for everything that you bring out because I like hearing you all speak because it triggers certain things in my mind. But I feel as though with practice, constantly working and practicing on, shooing away those negative thoughts. Praise Allah for
Yeah.
the positive thoughts because you do get 1,000 positive thoughts, but you do get 1,000 negative thoughts. And
Mhm.
for me, what has helped me is constantly saying, you know what, praise Allah. The
Mm-hmm.
reminder of Allah consistently assists me with getting rid of those negative low vibrations.
That's right.
Yeah. Bringing memory
Also,
to your
what
energy.
helps me is making sure that I remember it's an illusion.
Mm.
Whatever energy that I got from somebody that I didn't really appreciate, it probably wasn't even meant that way. It was an illusion on my part. You feel
Right.
me? So
Yeah.
it's
Long.
like, let me not even worry about that. Let me take it to the high. Because at times we misunderstand things. And that's due to our lower selves.
It's long.
We don't hear each other properly. And listen, I'm gonna be honest and say there are some things that are said to you or a message to you or whatever the case may be, and you immediately take defense to it, that's your problem.
Mm-hmm.
That is your problem, because you are in that position of thinking a negative thought when in reality, it 9 times out of 10 wasn't even meant that way.
Yeah.
So those illusions, knowing that that moment of feeling like somebody did something wrong to you, that's going to pass away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Praise Allah for knowing that 1 minute we think we below a worm, above a worm, and this, that, and the third. Man, listen, you ain't got much time. We here for a good time, not a long time.
Right.
So it's no point to sit up here and worry about the illusions of thinking that this and that is really going to affect you. We have to be that in which we know, which is a spirit and a part of Allah. We
Mhm.
are thoughts of Allah. Therefore, Allah being within us, we have to make sure that we are always trying and practicing our thought process to be as higher, as in a higher vibration as we possibly can.
That's right.
That's what helps me to control my thoughts.
That's right.
Praise
Mhm.
Allah.
Praise Allah.
Sister, you brought up feelings. I'm gonna be real brief. There are many days that I say to myself, I cannot wait. And praise Allah when the day comes when what somebody says, I be like, huh, that ain't even real, and just step off. I could be glad when I can get to that point,
Right.
because it's easier said than done. But
Absolutely.
trust me, I done got so much better. I'm talking about so much better with it. Praise Allah. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
Mm-hmm. One thing I'll say too, Jesus said, "Away from me, all tempting thoughts." You know what I mean? And I have to sometimes remind myself, wait a minute now, because we know that lower self is tempting. It's
Mm-hmm.
very tempting to go there. And he said it. I'm like, if he's the pattern, then I need to put that throw that up in there. Away from me, all tempting thoughts. I'm not going there. Don't entertain it. Because the sister says something about entertaining it and even giving it attention. You know, that lower self, you can't even give it attention, because if you do, then you're in a conversation with it. Then it's in control. It's running it. So you got to make sure that remind yourself, like, oh wait, no, I don't want to do that. Because even with I'm thinking about my son coming in and throwing the bag. Sometimes even when you just say and you bring the higher self instead of reacting to that, everything okay, babe? You know what I mean? You just change the tone, and that can change the vibration. You know? So just by allowing your thought or whatever you're interacting with, giving the higher self version, that can also change the paradigm of the conversation or the thought that was there. We control that. We don't get to sit
Yeah,
around.
yeah. And sometimes I have to ask myself, like, what's going on with me that I even thought that somebody was coming sideways, or that whatever someone said made me feel this way. Now, was it coming from a place of love that when they said it? If so, you could feel it. And why did it trigger me in the way that it did? So then now I'm trying to figure out what made me feel that way, because that's something I have to face and deal with and work on, so that the next time it comes up, it won't affect me the same. It's about getting better. This is a getting better movement.
Yeah.
Praise God.
Let's get into the tools, and let me ask the next question here, which is, which tool did you use last, and what did you need to use it for? What was the reason?
I just wanted to
Islam.
briefly say, I'm sorry, Sister Britt Bay. Just thinking about the control part. Control is something that has a hold on you. It's
Yeah.
directing you.
Yes.
So praise Allah for knowing that your thoughts direct the flesh. We want to make sure that our thoughts are in higher vibrations, so that as we are being directed, we being directed for positive. Praise Allah, Sister Britt Bay.
So the tool I used last, which is one that I use pretty much every day, is the axe. And that's cutting away the naughty and useless and ungainly parts. Because as we spoke earlier, thoughts rush in all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not always bad thoughts. Let me be clear on that. I do have some good, pleasant thoughts, um, but I'm working on having more of those. But I have to use the acts quite often throughout the day because throughout my days, different events are taking place. And like we said, that lower self is strong. And it's just sitting on the sideline doing push ups, waiting to be called into the game. You know, I always say, I can hear it saying, call me in, coach. Call me in, coach. Let me get this one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have to use the axe, but I have to come right behind it and pick up that hammer
Mm.
and pound in that truth, making it a part of every part, calling remembrance to my aid what I can. And if I can't remember uh, an instruction, so to speak, I do know right from wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I do know when I'm out of line. I do know when I'm out of character. I know when I'm in a dark place and I need to come up out of there based on the effects that it's having on me, whether it's my face balled up, mugging, or my stomach feeling upset.
Mm.
Come up out of there. You don't like none of that. Why you there? And what I do like that I'm noticing is I'm catching things like that a lot more faster now.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that I'm able to catch them and not stay at the movies. I used to be gone in them, So I'm very grateful for the tools. I'm very grateful for the lessons. Peace.
Sister Brie, when you said tag me and coach, yo, I felt that. My low self be trying to get in the game like a
And
mug.
game, what?
Yeah. The last tool I use is the chisel. I feel like I've been using it a lot, recently. When I first got my tool belt, as Sister Brie said, yo, I was using the axe on a regular, cause whoo, the sister was, yeah, we had some real work we had to get done. We had to roll up our sleeves, roll up our pants, put on some safety gloves, some gargles, and get busy. Cause yo, Sister Grill, from the outside, you probably wouldn't know, but internally, Sister Grill had a lot to really work on when it came to the way she thought.
Mm-hmm.
Um, praise Allah. I cannot say that enough
Yeah.
for the blessings that He
Yes.
has bestowed upon me
Mm.
through this movement.
Praise Allah.
So,
My gratitude is so big. No matter what it looks like on the outside, trust and believe my gratitude is huge.
Mm-hmm.
mm.
Praise God.
Praise Allah. Y'all better get a tool belt, viewers. I'm telling you, we building some beautiful things.
Praise Allah. I think, um, excuse me. I think I personally use different tools, different days. I think there are different situations that call for different tools, and you may use several tools in a day. So I can't
That's
particularly say that it was just one, because there may be a different tool I'm dealing with my children, a different tool I'm dealing with work. You just never know. And what I will say is each tool has its rightful place because of the job that you needed to do. The drawing a circle around your passions with the compass, praise Allah. Um, I think at times we don't realize that we are a passionate people. And at times our passion can easily translate to anger.
Mm.
And at times, for me personally, I don't want to seem angry. I want to get my point across, but it's all about in how you deliver it. It's all about in how you present it. Um, the acts, praise the Lord for this Sister Britt Bay talking about that. You know, as much as I want to use the acts, I use it, but then again I don't. Cause it's like, you know how it talks about cutting off those useless and ungainly parts. Yeah, I could cut them off myself, but at times I feel like, well, let me say this. Sometimes I'm like, let me not deal with this person. I'm gonna cut them off. But I don't really cut them off. Because it's like that connection, like you wanna give people the benefit of the doubt. You wanna make sure that your heart is still open. You wanna make sure that you give them grace and mercy and forgiveness. But at the end of the day, once again, it's an illusion. Because at the end of the day, only Allah can judge. You know what I'm saying? Anybody for whatever it is they're going through. And if they are doing something, praise Allah, we talked about this yesterday in Sunday school. It's not their true self because we are truly spirits and a part of Allah. So whatever someone has done, because this is the part that I struggle with. When somebody has done something wrong to me, I'm like, I'm not dealing with them, not talking to them. But in reality, I end up doing it because I feel like that's, you know, maybe they were going through something at that time, or maybe they were in a bad place at that moment, or whatever the case may be. So I feel like so many different tools I use on an everyday basis, but essentially, excuse me, trying to use every last tool to better myself. Because at the end of the day, how, and I said this before, how I perceive things is how I'm going to deal with things in life. It's all about my perception of the reality that's going on. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. So I'll just say, was the tool that I used last, and the one that I used last really was that compass. It says here we use a compass to draw the circles around our passions, desires, to keep them in the bounds of righteousness. Sometimes, at least for me, be honest here, I'll be like, I want something, even if it's for my child. I want them to have this opportunity, and I will do stuff, exert extra, spend all this time. And then I got to realize at the end of the day, and it comes to me, use that hammer, Allah knows what he wants and what he doesn't want for all of us, including my children. And so I will sometimes put my wanting to seek or wanting to get something so much that, I'll try to do whatever I need to do to be able to get it done for them. But the reality is that sometimes it's not meant for us to work and to do all those things for it. So, you know, I wanted my son to get in this program that he got. I'm trying to go to research, trying to call people. I'm like trying to doing way extra than I really needed to do is what it really came to. And it was like, if it was meant for him to have this opportunity, I got to let Allah guide me and let him do it. And also I got to let him use his will to get the things that he needs. I feel like that, particularly as a mother, sometimes I will try to want so much for them, my desire for wanting for them, but I got to check to make sure is it their desire or mine? Because they're at the age now where they have thoughts. Teenagers got thoughts. They know what they want. Mommy, I don't really want to do that. What do you mean I want to do that? You know how much work I did to get this, and then it's like, well, why am I giving them a guilt trip? That wasn't even what they wanted. So I got to put it in, I got to check myself, that I have to allow their spirit to grow and be able to use the tools that we give them, right? And at some point, let them start making decisions on their own, knowing that it may not work for them, or it may, but let them do the things that they need to do, because in preparation for them to go and live their life. So that's one that I know that I've used recently as I think about wanting to, make that transition of my relationship as a parent. And I know that someone said, little children, little problems, big children, big problems. I'm like, oh, I see what you're talking about now. You know what I mean? We ain't talking about, the potty training or whatever that was. We talking about they got to make decisions on what they want to do with their life, how they want to spend their time, or who they want to be, or where they want to be. and that's really for them. All I can do, like all I do is just help guide them along the path, but they have their own will. So that's one that I feel like I use, and in conjunction with pounding, using that, I got to go back and use that hammer to pound in the truth to center me. So
Great. You want to do your question?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any tools that you've used in your life that are not mentioned in our Quran?
It's long. So I said the screwdriver and the drill. The screwdriver has the same function um as the screwdriver. Hold on. So no, let me stop right there. I'm gonna say the screwdriver. The screwdriver is used to attach and detach things. So I'm able to attach what's good in my life with the screwdriver, and I'm able to take away or detach things that aren't useful in my life. Pretty much almost the same as what the axe does, I guess, kind of, sort of. And then the drill has the same functions as the hammer. Because sometimes I got to just drill that truth in, you know. So yeah, those are the two for me: screwdriver and a drill.
Praise Allah. I have no idea. I think I don't know. I Yeah, I feel like a workshop can have many different tools. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know around the house I'll be using that drill. Praise Allah. Around the house. But like I said before, different tools for different things. And it's all those different things. You never know which one is coming because it's always something different every day. One thing I could say for sure is no, there has not been a day that has been the exact same the next day for me. Is Praise Allah for having consistency and a schedule and all that type of stuff, but there have not been 2 days alike. So it's always something different. It's always something new, and just learning to adjust. And to be honest with you, Sister Grill, a lot of them tools that I know that my husband has, I don't even know the name of them. I just use them. I find whatever works, whatever I could
Praise
think will work. Praise Allah.
Praise
Praise Allah.
the one that sticks out to me is that jackhammer. Because sometimes I need to go a little deep, when I'm thinking about why is this happening? What am I doing? Where's that coming from? And I need to break open some layers within me to
Mm-hmm.
figure out what it is. And I always think about, I mean, I ain't never used it, but I always see, when they work on that street and they can use that machine, it just cracks it right open
Mm-hmm.
and start to look and peel back. And so that's one that I know that sometimes I have to go deep. It's like, okay, I don't know if we just want to smooth this one out. Like, what's really going on here? Because this keeps popping up here for you. Let's break this open, and it may not be pretty. Let's go in and figure out what is happening. What's the root of this character piece that you got going on? So that's the one that comes to my mind when you ask that question, sister.
Well, is sandpaper part of the tools?
It's in the workshop. I would.
Yeah, yeah. I like the sandpaper too.
glue is my tool.
What is?
I want to glue. I want to
Okay.
be closer to people. I want to love on people more. Those who want to be close and loved on more. And sometimes I need glue remover as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to be close to people. I feel lately that with we losing so many people, we don't have time to waste time.
Yeah.
So glue,
That gorilla glue. That gorilla glue
Ooh,
sticks. That was
That
good.
would be the one.
We got another question.
yeah, we got time for another question. Go ahead.
I don't have any more. I don't have any more. But there's some good ones on here.
Okay.
Well, I'm just going to read one. How have using the tools been helpful in your life?
Thank you, sis.
And I'm going to say the tools have helped me how to establish principles of action.
Mm,
They have just my belief in Allah's word has helped me to govern my behavior.
Hmm.
My belief in Allah's instructions has are guiding me, not has, but are guiding me through this life. And they're helping me build my character. So these tools are doing an amazing job for me mentally and morally. And I'm very, very much grateful to have learned about these tools. I never would have even thought of them in the way that Jesus broke them down in that chapter, in the workshop of the mind. And I find that I have to use them quite often. And I like the functions. The most important thing to me is knowing the use of each tool and when to use them. Peace.
This sis, can you repeat the question for me, please?
Oh,
It's how
oh, I'm sorry. You got it, sis. Go ahead.
it says, how has using these tools been helpful in your life?
Praise Allah. Thank you. I think for me, these tools that are in chapter 5, because they have an explanation to them, have helped me tremendously. So I'm going to take a reading from chapter 5. Um, After the feast, the homeward journey, the missing Jesus, the search for him, his parents find him in the temple. He goes with them to Nazareth, symbolic meaning of carpenter's tools. So instruction 14, we use the squares to measure all our lines to straighten out the crooked places of the way, to make the corners of our conduct square. Praise a lot for that one. That's deep. Like when I always gain a new meaning behind different instructions. And I've read this chapter several times, but praise the Lord for the growth and unfoldment, because you always can get something from it. And just learning just what I just read about the crooked places of the way. You know, we at times, and I think we've spoken about how we perceive thoughts or how things happen and come up, and we take it to a different route. Um, I think straightening out those crooked places that are within our minds, it's a benefit to us, because I know from where I'm from, it's like a thing to look at people kind of like sideways. It's like this is what everybody does. Like you literally always think people are suspect. You know what I'm saying? And it's because you just never know, or it's because that's how you grew up, or that's how you were raised, or that's the community that you live in. It's just a little rough. Praise Allah for the plane to smooth the rough and uneven surface of the joint and the block and board that go to build the temple for truth. Some of us come from places that are a little bit, you kind of got to be on guard, especially as a sister. Um, but knowing that we have to use the square in order to stand on our square, in order to make sure that we are, you know, trying to live the best life that we can for ourselves. But it's work on self, it's work on our minds, it's work on making sure that you're not thinking the worst of people. Um, I know when we started the conversation, somebody said something that triggered me to think about. I think it was Sister Brooke Bay. When she was speaking, I was thinking about how at times our thoughts are directed, our negative thoughts are directed towards ourselves. Like before we can even think about the outside entity or people outside of ourselves, a lot of times we direct certain thoughts towards ourselves. And in order to kind of get rid of those things and continuously work on ourselves, we have to use all these different tools on us first. And I think that makes the practice a little bit easier and a little bit better when it's dealing with everybody else or everything else, excuse me, outside of ourselves. So I feel like, you know, these tools have helped build character by way of reflection, by way of knowing our lessons, by the truth. There is many different ways that it's a benefit if you're truly studying and working on yourself.
That's right.
Praise the Lord.
Mhm. I had to look up just briefly because these are here to build up our character and just
Right.
to ground me a little bit on the word character. Because, we always know what all the words are all the time. But, sometimes it's nice to go back and see. And it says the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. That's interesting because, it's not just how you operate mentally, it's also your moral qualities. How do you make your decisions and where do they come from? And it's distinctive to an individual. Everybody's character ain't like the next person. Everybody's moves a little different. And there's nothing wrong with it, but everybody's character could be a little different,
Yes.
And so, I think about some people, we all know some of the members maybe in the temple, some sisters we love and adore, they just have a loving character, a loving spirit about them, they just that just comes from them and you feel it and you see it all the time. But that's distinctive to them. And so when I think about these tools, it makes me think about what is the character that you're exuding mentally and morally. Where are you at today and where do you want to go? I talk like a lot of that with my church. Like it's not always about where you are in this moment, it's where do you want to see yourself in growth and development. So if you want to be somebody that's always on time, well, you can't practice later. You got to practice now. You can't be like, oh, I was late today. No, you don't want that. You don't want that attached to your character that you're always late, because that is true. If we waiting in the car for you to get to school, you the late one. Don't get mad at us.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that you need to do to set the character or the place that you want to be? And we all have that opportunity to do that and figure out what is it that we want our character to be, and then we are blessed. I think that's the thing that hit me the most in this meeting, in this conversation with us together, is not everybody even knows this exists. And then even if you know it, you got to go back to remember it, and pray Allah gives you a deeper understanding of this so you can use it. But we're blessed to know that you can even do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
They have helped me in ways such as, to be patient, to be more kind, to practice humility, to take care of my health, mental, physical, emotional. It has helped me put boundaries in place, It has
Mhm.
helped me not to be so hard on myself. These tools have helped me not be hard on others. These tools have show up and remind me that, forgiveness is important because I want to be forgiven. I can go on and on what these tools have done for me, but those
Yeah.
are just a few. Um, they allow me to recognize that um, everything I do is, and I'll just share it with somebody. Everything I do is me trying to get back to Allah. With that, I say peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. I just wanted to quickly point out that in this chapter it speaks about two separate ladders. And I think we might have mentioned, but I don't recall. Those ladders are like the epitome of what we are trying to do. Instruction 20 talks about, and then this ladder with its trinity of steps, faith, hope, and love. That's something that we consistently working on as well. Um, on it, we climb up to the dome of purity and life. 21 states, and on the 12-step ladder, we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build, the temple of perfected man. So at the end of the day, we're trying our best to get to that point of being, having our character be at you know that of what we can be proud of, but we're trying to build the temple of perfected man. So of course we know that perfected man must pass through all ways of life. So we got to go through a lot of different things and a lot of different situations in order to get to where we're trying to be. So praise Allah for chapter number 5 and telling us the tools that we got to use in the workshop of the mind to get to that temple of perfected man. With that, I say peace.
Peace.
What happened?
I think she might have cut off briefly. Let's give her a quick second to get back. Here she
Praise
is.
Allah.
Good. Praise
Hey,
Allah.
you know what happened there for a minute? I had a thought, and maybe it wasn't time for that thought. But I still got the thoughts. So I'm gonna say it. I know we gotta run. But when you were saying that, it made me think about, sometimes you have the saw or a knife. It's dull. You use it and it ain't working, and you got to go back and sharpen that knife up so that it can work to do what it needs to do. When she was speaking about that, about reaching that perfected man, it's like we got to go through those pathways to test to see, is this saw working? Is this hammer working? It didn't beat it up. It didn't get that true hard enough for here. I need to get a stronger hammer to get it in there. So we keep using these tools as much as possible as we need. Any other closing thoughts? I know we have a lot of wonderful things and some announcements to share. Any last closing thoughts?
Keep studying self. Praise Allah.
And don't forget your tool belt.
All right. Well, we just want to a few things we want to share. We want to give our love and honor to Sister Jay Barnes, who transitioned from Temple Number 78. May allow her to sail on smoother seas. We're going to send love to the family as they make this change and transition. But there is happening on July 4th to the 6th, which is, I think, almost next week, coming up. Moorish National Home Number 1 is having their Family Day Camp Out event. In July 20th, we have Moorish American Independence Day Authority Day that's going to be hosted in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We've got in Temple Number 25 is hosting Unity Weekend in Michigan. That's July 27th to 28th. August 11th, we have Temple Number 28, Glassboro, New Jersey, has their Family Day celebration. Of course, we have our Friday and our Sunday meetings, Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And most importantly, also in 2 weeks, July 3rd, Sakara Sacred Healing will be having their show, and you will have the opportunity to continue to be here and hear more. And with that, we will see you in 2 weeks. And we hope to say, hope you have a wonderful day, rest of the week. Peace.
Peace. Thanks for joining us.
Girl talk. Real talk.
Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Moorish Talk.
We're building when the girls are talking Moorish talking real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking Moorish talk. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking Moorish talking real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking Moorish talk. Real talk. Real talk. Hell, I want us to talk about it. At least that we can shout about it. We're building our foundation upon truth. I'm thankful now to think about it. Communicate and speak about it. The gospel of salvation is good news. We're building when the girls are talking Moorish talking real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking Moorish talk. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are talking Moorish talking real talk. Real talk. We're building when our Moors are talking Moorish talk. Real talk. Real talk. We're building when the girls are
Please tune
talking
in
Moorish
to
talking
Girl Talk, Real Talk, Moorish Talk in 2 weeks on Monday at 7 p.m.
We thank you all for being a part of this show and experience with us, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.